because she had to listen to the rehearsals. So.
I didn't cuss you. I just said I deserved a spot in the front.
Oh, okay. But a couple months ago, you were cussing me, I think. No, I'm sorry. It must have been somebody else's wife. Maybe it was your other wife. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, please, for Mike Waldron.
Yeah! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see everyone here tonight. How about Jim and Nan? These guys are good.
Jimmy does it too.
Yeah, I know that. I'd be more embarrassed if that wasn't true, but I know these guys really well, and I have a funny story about them, but I only have so much time, so we'll have to do that one next year. Anyway. So yeah, my name is Mike Waldron. I'm a local yokel, biannual taxpayer, full-time pillar of the community, and a part-time amateur stand-up comic. Also, long-time listener, first-time caller, big fan of the show. Thanks for taking my call. So we are here tonight to celebrate the second annual Laugh Out Livingston event. Which will hopefully raise a shitload of money to support the good work that Aspen does throughout the year. And I gotta tell you folks, I am so excited to be up here. I am so happy to be doing this right now. This is my Super Bowl. I have more fun doing this than I do at Christmas. And that's not entirely because I fucking hate Christmas. Although that is part of it. But I genuinely appreciate the opportunity to be able to stand up here in front of a crowd of receptive, semi-well lubricated people and perform my art for a good cause. So, when I talk to the Aspen folks before and after the show and they say, "Thank you for doing this," it lands on me a little bit funny because I don't feel like I'm doing them a favor. I feel like they're doing me a favor. And so when they say this, I say, well, I appreciate that you appreciate what I'm doing. But I need you to know that I appreciate the opportunity. And so we end up in one of these, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you kind of circle jerks. And I get a little confused. I get a little mixed up. I feel like we're stuck in some kind of a loop and we might be here a while. And so my instinct tells me to go, well, fuck you, assholes! Whoa, that's inappropriate. Why would I do such a thing? Well, the answer is I'm more comfortable with negative emotions than I am with positive emotions. So, if we're going to be stuck here for a while, and it seems like we might be, I'm going to take off my emotional shoes and put my feet up on your emotional coffee table. Dig? And now our little circle jerk has turned into a circle punch. I can do this all night, motherfuckers, bring it. I got a little traction, all right. So anyway, I've been doing stand-up comedy on an amateur basis for about 20 years. Actually longer than that, but now that I'm middle-aged, a longer resume isn't more impressive, it just makes me look older. So as far as you guys know, I have been doing amateur stand-up comedy for about 20 years. It keeps working, people keep laughing, I enjoy it, so we keep doing it. And yet, in spite of this relatively long and successful track record, I still get nervous when I'm introduced to new people as a comedian, or the comedian. Because my fear is the new people I'm being introduced to are going to look at me and go, oh, so you're a comedian. Go on, say something funny. This is a lot of pressure. I should tell you guys I have this basket of raw materials I carry around in my head at all times that has little things in it that I've thought or things I've seen or whatever. But in their raw state, they're not fit for public consumption. So if I were to get ambushed, I think the person asking me to be funny on the spur of the moment would go away disappointed. They'd go, I thought he was funny, shit. This has never actually happened. But it almost did, or at least I thought it was going to a couple of months ago. I got a neighbor named Becky. Becky lives 2 doors down from me, and I had known her since she moved in, but I did not know until just recently that she's affiliated with Aspen. And the way I found this out was I was out in my front yard mowing the oil or raking the snow or working my lemonade stand or something. Becky comes down the street and she says, "Hey Mike, I hear you're a comedian." And I thought, oh shit, here we go. Now, to her credit, she did not follow that up with, "Go on, say something funny." Because if she did, the result might have been something like this. All right, so, okay. Why did the chicken cross? No, that's the classic meta joke. That's not gonna work. A horse. Let's go this way. A horse walks into a bar. No, horses can't talk. That's not gonna work. A whore. A whore walks into a bar and she asks the toilets about the bartenders. She asked the bartenders about the toilets. I'm sorry. And no doubt at this point, Becky would look at me and go, "Mike, honey, that's not very funny." To which I would go, "Yeah, well, you kind of caught me off guard. And it would help if you were drunker, honestly. I know it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to hear any excuses." So anyway, the good news tonight is I have known for several months that LOL was coming, so I came prepared, so I'm ready for you guys. So, what do you want to talk about?
Tell me a funny story.
That question is entirely rhetorical. This is a dictatorship, and I'm the dictator. The penis potato, if you will. I've had that joke in my back pocket since I was a kid. Come on. All right. So let's start by talking about McDonald's. I was in McDonald's the other day looking at the nutritional information. They have the nutritional information up in a lot of their restaurants now since they got their asses sewed off in the 90s or something, which I think is good. Good for them. And I noticed that it said coffee, 0 calories. That's fair. It's just coffee beans and water. You don't put any cream or sugar or anything in there. 0 calories, sure. But then I noticed right next to it, it said iced coffee, 120 calories. Ice. Apparently it's got 120 calories. Shit, I had no idea. Is this ice made with vodka? Is there a little beef tallow mixed in there? Should I just stop asking questions because I don't want to know the answer?
Yeah.
On a totally unrelated topic, I don't know why they call them cuttlefish. They're not very cuddly. I would know. I tried that a few months ago and she got kind of pissed. You can tell when a cuttlefish is pissed because they do this. But it's tricky because when they're super happy, they do this. Very difficult to read cuttlefish. People, this is why it's important to get explicit consent. I think car alarms are basically useless. I think the theory behind a car alarm is when you hear one go off, we are all supposed to drop whatever it is we're doing and go, "Holy balls! Someone's stealing a car!" And then run over there and intervene. Or at a minimum, pull out your phone and call the cops. Have you ever done this? Have you ever seen anybody do it? I don't know, but I think if you called dispatch to report a car alarm going off, I think they would hang up on your ass. I don't even know if they're allowed to do that, but they might make an exception. That's a worse reason to dial 911 than to find out how the Super Bowl turned out. If I was an actual car thief, actually stealing cars, let me back up. What do we do when a car alarm goes off? At least what do? I assume everybody does the same thing. We all kind of go, "Jackass." disturbing the peace, dickhead. I do that, I assume everybody does as well. So if I was an actual car thief, actually trying to steal cars, and I was in, say, the Target parking lot on Christmas, during Christmas shopping, there's 100 people looking around. I'm messing with this car, the alarm goes off, they all turn and look at me, I would just go, sorry! It does this all the time. It's too sensitive. And they would all go, jackass, and walk off, and I got a free car. Wash, rinse, repeat. I have no idea what car alarms are for. I hate those fucking things. So, when I'm in a home improvement store, and I walk down the aisle that has bathroom fans in stock there, I always get a kick out of the bathroom fans that advertise themselves as being whisper quiet. Whisper quiet. I don't know how your house runs, that's really none of my business. But in my house, the bathroom is specifically designated for the making of rude noises. That's why I have that room in my house. If I didn't need that function, I would turn it into a music studio. So, for me, the ideal bathroom fan is not one that is whisper quiet, but the one that says right on the box, roars like a goddamn jet engine spinning up. You know, something like this. That's the one for me! I was using a gas station bathroom one time, and it's one of these old-timey kind of things where the door to the bathroom is actually on the outside of the building, and you have to get a key from the clerk to use it. So I went in and unlocked the door, flipped on the one switch that turned on the light and the fan. The fan clearly had a bearing going out in it because it was making a ronka, 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 ronka noise. And I was like, my man, my fan, you got my back. I turned the key back into the clerk and he said, we're getting that fan fixed as soon as possible. Sorry for the inconvenience. And I said, no, it's perfect. I would just leave it. That was my recommendation. So I've done a fair bit of thinking about this, and I feel like the noisy bathroom fan is really a band-aid more than a root cause solution. So I don't know, I've done a lot of thinking about this, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but toilet bowls are bowls. What's more, they're usually made out of hard ceramic. So these two factors together combine so that when you point your noisemaker in there, then it turns into. I think we need to address this problem at its root. Now, I'm not the kind of guy to bitch and moan and not bring solutions. I got a couple solutions. Number one, we could start lining toilet bowls with shag carpeting. Shag was a big deal back in the 70s. We're not using it too much today. We must have warehouses of the stuff sitting around. Let's just use that to line toilet bowls. It would tamp that noise right down. Now, we may have a bit of a smell problem. Can you smell my next invention already? But let's not shoot down ideas. Right now, we're in the brainstorming phase here, so, we're thinking outside the box. Okay, all right, you don't like that one. So, idea number two, why does it have to be a toilet bowl? Why can't it be a toilet plate? Or we can take that one step further and make it convex, like you flip the bowl upside down. Have you ever crapped on a basketball? Well, now you can. See, I'm always thinking. I'm just full of ideas. All right, do we have anybody here who likes to ride motorcycles?
Yeah.
We got any bikers here? A couple of you out there? Okay. You guys like motorcycles? I really don't. So this next bit may piss you off. I don't, just fair warning, if you have a thin skin and you like motorcycles, that might be a great time to check out the bathrooms. I hear the fans are nice and loud. So anyway, motorcycles to me look dangerous. They appear to be a dangerous way to get from point A to point B. And at the risk of sounding like a complete puss, I can't imagine myself riding down the freeway on a motorcycle without thinking about how dangerous that is. And I know because I've had this conversation with bikers several dozen times over the years, that, you know, being people with a hobby that they really enjoy, being relatively charitable, they'll try and bring new people into the hobby, and they'll try and reassure me that motorcycles are actually as safe as cars. And they'll say things like, well, just make sure you get a good helmet. Because when you fall off your bike, I mean, if you fall off your bike, you don't want to crack your egg open. Also, you want to get a good pair of riding leather because at highway speeds, asphalt will take off skin like that. Also, muscle, tendon, and bone. So those leathers are going to set you back a pretty penny. But when you fall off your bike, I mean, if you fall off your bike, you will know where that money went. Oh, and if you go into a skid, the first thing you want to do is decide what kind of a skid you're in. If it's a rear wheel skid, you want to just try and surf that bike to a stop. Just imagine it's a surfboard and try and balance. Hopefully you got good balance. That's the best way to get out of that situation without injury. And if it's a front wheel skid, it's going to feel like you're falling faster than gravity. Now, that's pretty fucking fast. So your best bet there is just to jump off the bike. Just jump free of it as soon as you can. Hopefully you got good reflexes. So yeah, otherwise just, oh, I almost forgot. Also, cars can't see you as well, so you have to ride like you're invisible. So yeah, just you know, keep those 14 things in mind. And motorcycles are just as safe as cars. I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but some bikers, not all, but some bikers will derisively refer to people who drive cars as cagers. This is a term that means, ha, this idiot prefers to have a steel cage around him when he's traveling at inhuman speeds down the freeway. I will own that all day long. I am a cager. You can accuse me of being a cager and I'll say that's me. There are many advantages to my steel cage. Among them, I can carry 3 passengers comfortably. I can talk to my passengers simply by rolling up the window. No need to buy helmets with radios in them for us. In fact, no need to buy helmets. I have twice as many surfaces touching the ground, which makes me half as likely to slide off the road in a low traction situation. And probably my favorite feature about my steel cage is if I forget to put down the kickstand on my Toyota Corolla, it does not suddenly go up on its side. It's very stable. If I do nothing at all, it just kind of keeps sitting there. To me, that's a selling point. Thank you. Now, what about bikers? When it comes to bikers, I'm a racist. And that's a hard thing for me to say because if I didn't get all the way through that statement, like there was a sudden distraction, like let's just say there was a loud noise up on the roof of unexplained origin, that would come out like this. I'm a racist. What the hell is that? And now my future political opponents would have a ready-made attack ad ready to go. In his own words, folks, in his own words. I weigh 700 pounds. But for you guys, I'm willing to take that chance. So, I'm kind of a racist when it comes to bikers. I can hear you guys getting quiet out there. You're like, oh shit, where's he going with this? I don't know, I hope this works. Here's what I mean by that. A while ago, my wife pointed out that normal people will not hold ill will towards a group of people in general, but they will call out individuals as being asshats. So, these guys are fun, whatever, I have no real opinion, but that guy's an asshat. That's how a normal person thinks. Racists will flip this on its head, and they will dislike an entire group of people in general, and then choose individuals to exempt from their hate. They will say, these guys all suck, Except for my friend over here, he's one of the good ones. That's a phrase that you can use to identify racists in the wild. If somebody tells you he's one of the good ones, you are dealing with a racist, okay? This is roughly how I feel about bikers. I don't have a lot of use for bikers. I don't like biker culture. I don't like the way they call themselves brother. I don't like the way they refer to their women as old ladies. I don't like the way they block up the freeway for 30 minutes at a time for veterans rides. How does this help veterans? I don't know. And yeah, the Sturgis Rally, I got no use for that thing. We lived in the Black Hills for a few years. Sometimes it's called Bike Week locally, but it's really Bike Month. It's a giant pain in the ass. So just in general, bikers, fuck them, right? Except for my friend Dave. He's one of the good ones. See how that works? I've known Dave since I was a kid. He and I and our families used to go to church together. I grew up with him. Thoroughly decent guy. He's got a really good... No, I'm getting mixed up here. Hold on a second. He's one of the most responsible bikers I've ever met. Caught up with him again recently, and it was good. So my friend Dave is all right in my book. And that reminds me, since I'm talking about that friend Dave, I have another friend Dave, as it turns out, who I also grew up with. Not as closely, but his dad and my dad were both teachers, and so we kind of knew each other. He's gotten in really good shape lately. He's doing triathlons and shit, so good for him. Decent guy all around. And he and I went to Billings a while ago for a metal concert by a band whose lead singer was also named Dave, and was also a biker. And I don't know him as well, but, you know, we hung out for one night. It seemed to go aight, so, you know, decent guy. You know, on a side note, I have this theory that every biker in the world is named Dave. You may think that's ridiculous, but I have correlation of 100% with my sample size of 3. I think I'm onto something. So a while ago, I was down here at Casey's Corner. I go to Casey's for all my gasoline and gasoline-related needs. And as I was walking in, there was a group of 6 to 8 bikers coming out. And these guys were all dressed more or less the same. They all had pretty much the same bandanas on, the t-shirts, the leather vests with the club logos and the patches on it, and the jeans and the boots and the Harleys. 6 to 8 of these rugged nonconformists dressed identically. And I happened to notice on one of the patches, on one of the vests, said, "Don't ask to sit on my bike, and I won't ask to fuck your old lady."
Wow.
Who is this for? Let me tell you a little story. One time my wife and I were headed south down into Paradise Valley. We were at that same intersection next to Arby's. We're sitting there waiting for the light to change, and a bike pulls out in front of us, catches a little bit of gravel, and it goes down. Not a big deal, just a little... He lays it over. Now, my wife's a physician, and this happened right in front of us. And she said, "I'll get him, you get the bike." And I said, "Deal." And we jumped out of the minivan like a couple of middle-aged suburban Avengers. So she takes care of him. He's got a hurt leg because the bike fell on him, whatever. I pick up the bike, and I can't push it. I'm pushing, it's not going anywhere. Now, I'm not the strongest guy in the world, but I'm strong enough for everything I need to do. I picked the bike up just fine. I can't push it, clearly something's wrong. I don't know what this is. Now, this is a busy intersection. Furthermore, it's an accident scene now, and I know people are watching. I have no idea how many, but I'm basically doing this on stage. I can't bring myself to look around, my brow's getting hot, I feel a headache coming on from stress suddenly, and I'm like, what the fuck? This guy drives by the other way and he says, "You gotta put in the clutch, it's the lever on the left." And I said, "Thank you, now I can push it." Now, I know what a clutch is for. I know what a clutch does. At one point, I even knew that lever on a motorcycle actuates the clutch. But it had been so long since I touched a motorcycle, I had forgotten. This is how I relate to motorcycles. So, there's no way I'm gonna ask this guy, hey, can I ride your motorcycle? In fact, even if he offers, hey brother, wanna take a ride on my bike? I would say, you know, we'll both be happier if that doesn't happen. So if I'm not gonna ride his bike, why the fuck would I ever ask to sit on his bike? So I can pretend I'm a 3-year-old at playtime? Mommy, I'm driving. Mommy, where's my snack? Thank you. So this isn't gonna come up for me, so the patch is not for me. The guys in his club all have their own bikes, so they're not gonna ask. Other bikers not in his club know the code, and so they're not gonna ask. As far as I can tell, biker patches are there to answer questions that nobody's even asking. Wow. All right, so you guys have probably heard this phrase, loud pipes save lives. Something that bikers like to say. They've got t-shirts and patches and things that say it. I know what it means, I'm pretty sure we all know what it means, but just to be complete, I'll state for the record, that means if you're less than diligent about checking your blind spots, you will hear a motorcycle even if you don't see it. I get it. 100%. Good idea. But sometimes I feel like they get carried away with this. My family and I were on vacation one time, and we stopped for a pit stop in some small town. What was the name of that town? Oh yeah, Bumblefuck, South Dakota. And so we had gone into the convenience store, took on gas, we got snacks, we got drinks, we used the bathroom, we're headed back out to the minivan to go on our way. This biker comes through downtown, and his pipes are so goddamn loud, he's drowning out Jake brakes up on the freeway. His pipes are so loud, we have to pause our conversation until he's 8 or 9 blocks away, and I am not exaggerating. His pipes are so loud that when it was finally quiet enough to talk again, we were all kind of disoriented. We were looking at each other like, who are you people? How did I come to be in this wonderful place? And the first thing I thought to say is, I don't think his pipes are quite loud enough. Imagine how many more lives he could be saving if his pipes were a touch louder. Now, I am not an asshole. Well, I am an asshole, but I usually try to keep that under wraps. But I can't resist pulling this out when I hear stories about bikers doing stupid shit and hurting themselves. A little bit ago, as you guys know, we got this construction zone down here on I-90 where traffic is down to two-way traffic, one in each direction. And a few months ago, there was a biker who entered that one-lane traffic zone at a high rate of speed headed westbound, impacted the back of a minivan, and killed his ass. So I read this in the paper, and I think you know what I said. I was like, well, I guess his pipes weren't loud enough. Yeah, I didn't get laugh so much as I groan. You know, I thought about leaving that one out of the set because I know it's a little bit edgy and might piss people off. That's kind of what I was referring to at the beginning, and ultimately I decided to leave it in the set, and I apologize, ladies and gents. There's nothing funny about a dead biker. Except the part about the dead biker! That part's pretty funny! Oh! Did you see what I did there? Oh, shit, I did it again! Oh, wow! Oh, man, I swore up and down I wasn't gonna do that joke. I had a serious talk with myself, and I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I went ahead and I did it, and oh, man, I'm gonna have a serious talk with myself when I get off stage. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. That was completely uncalled for. I floated that joke past a friend of mine who still lives in Rapid City. I didn't say, hey, here's a joke, tell me what you think of it. I just kind of worked it into the conversation. And he responded by doing 3 things. Number 1, he sucked in his breath. So he went, that's always a good sign. And number 2, he gave me the, I don't want to get into your business hands, which looks like this. So he went, And then he said, I wouldn't tell that joke in the Black Hills. You'll get your ass kicked. And I said, okay. I appreciate the honest, constructive feedback. Thank you for that. However, counterpoint, I am due for an ass kicking. Now, I'm no kind of tough guy. I'm no kind of fighter. I never have been. But I do have this giant running mouth that sometimes gets out in front of my judgment. I don't know, does it show? Guys, that's it for me. Thank you very much for being here.
So I've got another story for you. I was in the library about a week ago, and a lady from North Dakota